Logan, the Commanders are back at home for another matchup. This one is against the Chicago Bears. We sit and talk to head coach Dan Quinn about our matchup today.
Yeah, we're heading inside the film room to talk about how the little details lead to big wins.
Yes, sir. And then we end the show with our ticket to a win. That is key matchups against the Chicago Bears. All that and more
starts right now.
Commanders family, welcoming in head coach Dan Quinn. Now, the story of today is will Jaden play? We do not know the answer to that. However, Marcus Mariota stepped in a big way. How great was it to see him step up and rally this team?
There's two qualities that both Jaden and Marcus have, and I admire it in both of them. It's confidence and humility. And they have this really good blend of both. And the confidence comes from performing and doing well and knowing that you put the work in to do that. The humility is what you see from the joy on the sideline about Marcus making plays and the sideline erupting when he had that. So there's this great balance between the two of them that have confidence in their ability and the way they lead the team and execute the offense. But there's also this humility that they have for their teammates, for the game, for the position. And it's this great balance that they both have, and it's something that, like, I admire about both of them so much. The sideline erupted for Marcus. They care about him. They love him because of all the things that he does that no one else sees. After practice, in a 2-minute on a Friday afternoon when everybody else is talking to media, he's working down a 2-minute drill, you know, with some guys just in case. And so when your number's called and you're ready and you deliver, it's really, really powerful. And, man, he delivered.
That's got to be so special for him, you know, like kind of all the hard work he's put in, and like not everybody loves the backup quarterback all the time, you know, but like to see, I mean, that sideline was electric when he threw that touchdown to Zach. It just got to speak to, again, like some of the stuff you talked about, just how everybody like loves him, and to have a team that's like rooting for each other that way. You know, we've talked about Cleveland Farrell before, supporting the out. Like, it's just cool that there's so many guys like that on this team.
Yeah, and he's a fantastic teammate. Logan, you would have loved to have played with Marcus. And that actual 2-minute, we did one on Friday afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
Know, like he didn't think he was going in the game, but they actually did a 2-minute, and here it was at the end of the first half, you know, 2:06 to go, and, you know, 96 yards away. All right, there's a first down. All right, let's get going. And then again, move it down the field. And so to get a score to Zach, like that was a really big moment. It was didn't necessarily impact the game all the way. It was important to show this is how we get down. And we attack, and Marcus is always ready for that.
Yeah.
And, Coach, let's turn the page to today. We are taking on the Chicago Bears. Let's start with our offensive line. They've been rolling. They looked really, really good. How do you get them ready for a tough matchup against the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, it's one of the best parts about the NFL, the different matchups, the schemes, how does it change week to week? And it's why having the whole week to go through the process to get ready. What does this look mean? What does that look mean? Is there tells? And so these guys dig in so hard, Bryan, to the tape, the communication on the sideline. If I could have had you down there next to me to see the communication going on between Wiley and Cosme in game. This look happens. He's over to here. We'll go to this. And so it's always adjusting and it's always tweaking. And that's what I love about the line, that like they're physical. They're playing as one. They're communicating well, and they love getting this chance to run the ball, you know, as big guys do. So, you know, you saw Cosme coming out, man, more, and he was excited.
That's awesome. And then, you know, the part of them like playing well is Cliff and how he's called games. And I know you've coached defensive line for a long time. And is there anything that you're like, man, this coordinator does this thing really well that really is disruptive to the defensive line? I think fans sometimes say, oh, it's, you know, the offensive line's got to win one-on-ones, but there's some tricks there, and I was wondering if you can kind of peel back the veil on that.
For sure, and for me, it always starts with balance. When a team has balance in run game and play passes and then drop backs, and now a defensive lineman, they're not quite sure what look is, how they can get to go, then misdirection plays, and all the things that can slow you down, and anything that can slow a pass rusher down is a good thing for the offense because they want to go and they want to like have a, you know, this is my man, I'm going to go beat him. And so then now here comes a chip and here comes a pull and here's a guard coming into it. And those are the things that can slow down a real pass rusher. And those are some of the things that our team does well.
You talk about those guys that chip, Zach Ertz, right? So let's talk about Zach Ertz a little bit. He had a big game Sunday. How do you expect him to impact this game today?
He really has a knack in some of the specific situations. He has a very good understanding for third down and where's a zone or where's a leverage for man-to-man. Red zone is another spot, for Zach. He knows where a hole might be. He studies it. He knows the leverage, and he's friendly for the quarterback. And then the last piece for him is third down. And knowing a certain route or a certain, leverage that can win, those are, to me, the areas that he really makes his impact. The third down, the 2-minute, and the red zone. And that comes with experience. And he's been in all of the big fights and knows how to get open. He knows how to work, see his zone, where to sit down. It's man-to-man, how to break off a leverage. He is very accomplished in that, and he's able to carry that into the game.
Our defense seems to have earned your guys' trust as well. What has been the message to them to keep that momentum going this Sunday?
Really, we were pleased to see the 2 takeaways. That is something that has to be part of how we play defense. It's so important to make sure we can be responsible for getting the team into the plus. You want to win the turnover margin. Well, to win the margin, you have to get turnovers. You have to get them.
Yeah.
And so that is a big piece of it. So scoring on defense, that's even bigger. But creating field position opportunities for the offense, another drive, another scenario, those are big deals. So tackling, always a number one, top of the pile. I'm hoping that you and our fans, everybody's seeing the effort, to say, can they finish, can they go? And then the last piece is getting that ball and getting a few knocked out, getting a few interceptions so we can give the offense, their shots at bat.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that jumped out on the film is like just how fast the guys are playing. And some of that comes to like game plan. And, sometimes you got to pull back. Sometimes you got to add stuff in. How do you walk that line coming into a game like this?
I think the first thing you look at is, going through the practice, what type of errors
I see.
Are there errors? And if it is, out it comes. I can remember.
Do you do it right away, or is it like, hey, this guy messed up one time, let's give him a second shot?
No, you give him a second one. If it gets towards the end of the week and it's still not clear, I can clearly remember in a practice, a player said, hey, we need to run that one again. This was on a Friday. I said, no, we don't.
There's no more time.
He's like, what do you mean? No, I messed it up. I need to go. I said, it's all good, man. Like, it's out for the game. We'll work it again next week. And so sometimes you put something in and it takes a while to get reps at it and know, because oftentimes you may see a blitz that a team did against another team. That looks good. Well, what would it look like against empty? Or what about this motion? Or what if they put something? So sometimes it just takes a few weeks to marinate if you are going to try something new. And people are always, working through things to get it just right. And I call it game ready. Yeah. And when something's game ready, you've executed, you know it, and you can go deliver.
And the Bears offensively have a ton of firepower. How do you game plan for a team that poses challenges like this with all their weapons?
Yeah, they've got a full arsenal of people from, receivers and tight ends and running backs and quarterbacks. So you have to look at the scheme first and say, okay, what do they do best? And then find how do they feature the players doing those things? And then, what can we do to make sure those things they do best aren't easy access? And so we try to make them play a little bit left-handed to say, that one thing that you do really well, not today. And so we can make sure we can try to take that part away. Matchups, everybody has a hard down sometimes. Yeah. When you have weapons like that and you're playing people, no one gets, hey, you're good. You can take this one off. No, everybody has hard downs, whether you're blocking, playing defense, all of it. And so winning those matchups is really important.
I'm glad you said that, because everyone's like, oh, you got to take this person away. But you can't take everything the offense does away all the time, right? You got to kind of say, like, what are the things we're prioritizing taking away, and what are we kind of okay with? And I'm sure that is really tough to do on a week.
Yeah, because you have to be willing. It's a give and take. Yeah. And say, if you're willing to go, an all-out blitz, you should be vulnerable for this, but you want to pressure. That's one way to do it. Right. Bring more than they can block. However, there's risk associated with that. So it's the fun part of coaching. Yeah. And where's the balance? What can you do? How do you match up? And every game is different. And I love that about the NFL.
And we'll be going against a rookie quarterback in Caleb Williams. How do you game plan for a rookie quarterback with that type of skill set?
It's the mobility, extending plays. And I know a guy that does that a lot at practice too. So.
Oh, wait, no, you do? No way.
So it's unique because one play may start and then a second play can begin. It doesn't happen all the time, but big plays are often generated when a quarterback can get outside the pocket. And now the coverage can change and it turns into man-to-man. And so those are big deals to go. But, clearly, their quarterback, Caleb's really talented guy. The mental quickness, the ability to process and put the ball in the right location, the arm strength, the athleticism. that's what playing at the highest level is. And so it's awesome, you know, to say like, this is a really good competitor, you know, with a lot of skills, and like, let's go battle.
And Coach, before we go, home game, back-to-back home game, our first one. Right. Talk about that energy that the fans bring, because we really have that home field advantage now. How great is that?
Yeah, it's the best. And I feel it on third down. I feel it in 2 minutes on the defensive side, because there's this energy that can take over. And when the place is absolutely lit up and you want to bring everything you have, because this could be the play. It's hard to change the protection. It's hard to change the play for the offense. So the louder, the better. And we need every single person there bringing all they have, man. I want this thing to be absolutely rocking. So when our defense gets that third down, and first third down or eighth third down, whatever it is, to say, this is the one, false start, big play, because our crowd is so into it, it just makes it hard to concentrate and focus.
Coach, can't wait to see what you guys do today. But before that, y'all got to get into the film room, so I'm going to let you guys do that.
All right, thanks, guys.
It was great hearing from Coach. Now let's hear a little more about this upcoming matchup. It's time for a competitive edge, brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official partner of the Washington Commanders. Here's a look at the upcoming competition for our Washington Commanders. The Bears are coming off a bye week and 3-game win streak for this Week 8 matchup. Chicago's rookie quarterback and #1 overall draft pick Caleb Williams put up career highs in completion percentage, touchdown passes, and rushing yards in their most recent game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Williams has also had just 1 turnover in the last 3 games. Not only is Chicago's offense on the up and up, but their defense is top 5 in the NFL in scoring defense and total defense. However, Washington is 3-0 at home. That's right, undefeated this season, and the Commanders are headed into Week 8 tied for first in the NFL in scoring and are top 5 in total offense. Stick around, Commanders fans, because Logan and Coach head into the film room to preview how little details get big wins at Northwest Stadium. And afterwards, we'll talk about the matchups to watch at today's game. The game plan is presented by Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly. Welcome back into the game plan. It's time to go inside the film room. Brought to you by the Maryland Lottery. Please play responsibly.
All right, Coach, got the Chicago Bears today, and one of the things just looking at this Carolina game that I think can transfer to Chicago is just the level of detail you guys are playing with right now, offensively and defensively, and it's really, really a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah, that's the focus, Logan, yes. To make sure, can you capture the details? Can we increase our capacity for that? And each play has nuances and to go through, and so I think you're going to show one of them right here.
Yeah, let's talk about the nuance here. And I love this because, like, you know, everyone says, oh, there's a free runner here. Bobby Wagner's running free to the quarterback. Great job, Bobby, whatever. But I see detail here, right? And I see we got Frankie kind of moving to the front side. And as an offensive player, I know we got to set the protection to a guy that's been a great blitzer for you.
That's right.
And so I think that's awesome. Again, Frankie doesn't have to do that. He could be on the wrong side, but obviously Joe Wood Jr. is coaching him up. And then to disguise the coverage the way they did, it just leads to a great play.
Yeah, you want it to feel like man sometimes. You want it to feel like zone and play vice versa. So on this particular one, of starting off with feeling more like a man-to-man blitz and then coming out and not being man, in fact, being cover 2.
Yeah, and again, like everyone's getting to their spots. We got the nice cover 2 look up here, Tampa with Frankie dropping down the middle, but also we're in good spacing, right? We can kind of take care of the stuff underneath, and it's all about those things that make a good defensive group.
Having versatility, sometimes you match onto players. On this particular one, if you look at the people that are dropping on this one, Noah, his vision is on the QB. Yeah. So this one is you're into a spot to drop in between the numbers and the hash, and now you trigger when you see the ball thrown. And so this is a really good trigger by Noah, being aggressive to go take your shot.
Yeah, and he's done that great all season, on slants and in man coverage zones. So great to see him again. Awesome. And then this one, everyone talks about explosive runs, explosive plays on defense, and explosive plays happen when people are on the details, right? And I say, everyone talks about Jaden, how, that run was so amazing, but I look over here at the receiver, and I say, this guy knows what's going on here, and that's what leads to explosive runs.
Yeah, and then this one, it takes all 11, for us to run the ball. On this particular one, Jaden's going to end up carrying it, but as the receiver coming down, right, and the corner is going to stay down with him, and Noah blocks, the inside defender. Here's another blocker to going out. Now we've got space, and that's what we're looking to do. And then after that space happens, can guys go and try to finish downfield for him? So if you see Zach digging to try to go get to the safety, can the backside players go get him, and can Austin run his player outside? And now there's space created. Here comes the offensive line. You don't know what play is going to be the one, Logan.
That's
you
exactly
just have to go.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, how many times have you seen a receiver like block a safety and then nothing happens, and then but that one leads to the explosive, which is pretty special.
That's the one that you can't wait. You have to go, and when there's space that gets created, you got to go take advantage of it.
Absolutely, 100%. Again, great job by everybody, and that's why you get explosive plays in the offense, which is so fun. And then this is I love this play too. It's a play you guys run quite a bit. It's like double, like spin, double in, whatever you want to call it. And it's it's one thing to draw it up on paper, but it's another thing to make the receiver come to life here, right? And I just love this little kind of push to the post. We're going to round. We're going to finish into the window, and great job by Mariota making this throw.
Yeah, and all of it comes to life in a 2-minute. All of it. Having a pocket to go step up and throw. Having somebody to step down to, here's a tight end that's a big target, and then ripping one in behind him. But having the pocket allows the quarterback to step in and absolutely deliver a rip
Coach,
to
it's
De'Ami.
like I knew you were going to say that, because like we got guys in here just grinding for the quarterback, right? Just 5 dancing bears, and they're going to fight. We got a little bit of stun here. Like, this is not an easy down for them, right?
That's right.
We're going to get a little stun here. You talked about the communication in the interview. Like, these guys are on the same page, and like individually, I don't know, maybe not the best guys in the NFL, but as a group, man, they're playing at a really high level.
Yeah, and that's what offensive line is all about, the talking, the communication, the fighting for one another, the belief they have in one another. And so what a cool play here for Marcus, absolute rip, right into the right spot, knowing that the receiver has to be in that location.
Yeah, and again, it takes everybody to make that play, and the details that are there are fantastic. And then this one, man, maybe one of my favorite plays, kind of a sneaky favorite of this guy right here, just understanding his responsibility and when he can kind of go for the home run.
That's right. And on this particular one, depending on a coverage, what could happen on a motion and how it can change a front. And firsthand how hard that is from being outside to inside and a play going away. That's the type of stunt that allows you to go take your shot. On this one, happened to be a throwback screen, but if that throw is completed, there's a big play opportunity. So you just have to go take your shot, be aggressive, and then try to go finish. And when you do that, good things happen.
And good things happen here, but also he's rewarded on that. Next play is interception, right? Pick 6, and it doesn't happen unless he doesn't do this the right way. So, Coach, I mean, it's just so fun for me to see every week guys get better and guys buying in and understanding the system just that much more.
Yeah, that's it to me, man. Can we get stronger?
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of ways for us to get stronger. And as we're building it, there's lots of areas, our brotherhood, our connection, the technique, physicality, our communication. Now is the time, and we're going to dig in hard for it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to watch these guys do it again today.
All right.
If you want more insight on today's matchup against the Bears, we got you covered. Gear up for game day with our Commanders coverage. At 3 o'clock, B-Mitch Santana and myself share in-depth analysis on the Commanders and a live look into their warm-ups. Then immediately after the game, we'll be back live to share our reactions to the game as well as coach and player press conferences. You won't want to miss all of the great analysis and live looks on Facebook, X, and the Commanders YouTube page. And stick around, Commanders family, because Logan and I will be right back to talk must-watch matchups on the game plan. And before we go to commercial break, the Washington Commanders Week 7 Coach of the Week is Taylor Kramer, whose leadership at Thomas Jefferson High School goes beyond the game. With a deep commitment to mentoring student athletes and prioritizing their well-being, Coach Kramer has become a standout figure both on the field and within the school community. Now it's time for your Prime Player, brought to you by DC Prime, Loudoun's premier steakhouse. For dinner reservations or private dining, call 703-840-2099. This week's Prime Player is Dante Fowler Jr. Fowler Jr. put up a 67-yard pick 6 against the Panthers last week, the first in his career. An 8-year NFL veteran who most recently spent the past 2 seasons with the Cowboys, Fowler leads the team in sacks. He was also a huge contributor to setting the tone for the defense against the Panthers, where Washington allowed a season low of 180 yards. Washington will need to be aggressive on the defense against dynamic rookie quarterback Caleb Williams in today's matchup. And if you want to stay in the know for the Commanders, I have great news for you. We have Commanders content going out every day this week. We have podcasts, shows, press conferences, and so much more. Be sure to subscribe to the Commanders YouTube page and turn on the bell so that you get notified every time we post. Now it's time for your Ticket to a Win, presented by SeatGeek. The most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected, SeatGeek. So Logan, our ticket to a win are these must-watch matchups. So let's get right into it. First up,
the defensive line for Chicago versus the offensive line for the Washington Commanders. And this is going to be maybe the most impactful one because this group for the Chicago Bears is playing good football right now. And they're supported by a really good secondary. But these guys are playing so well. And it's not only them, it's the way Cliff's calling games. He's elevating them with the different styles of protections. And they're just a bunch of junkyard dogs. And I love that about them. So this is going to be something that's really going to have a big impact on this game.
And this is something we've talked about a lot. The weapons versus our secondary.
Yeah, there's so many different weapons. And, you know, Dan, in the interview we did with him, talked about how you can't take everything away, but you can take some stuff away. And I think a lot is going to be on the secondary and a lot on Joe Wood Jr. in terms of how to disguise the coverages to make it harder for these guys to know exactly what coverage is, where the soft spots are in the zone. These guys are uber talented, but I think Joe Wood Jr.'s got some tricks up his sleeve.
And foresight, Logan.
Oh my gosh, it's almost like we knew this was going to be up here. So yeah, Joe Wood Jr. and Caleb, I mean, this is the story of the week, right? Caleb Williams and his maturation over the last couple weeks of the season. He's just getting better and better about playing on schedule and on time. And I look at the way the defense is playing, specifically in the Carolina game, and I'm like, Joe Wood Jr. is starting to get these guys bought in. They're playing fast. They're playing physical. It's awesome to see, but what schematically can he do to disrupt this young football player? I can't wait to check it out.
Commanders families, these are our ticket to a win. Now, we want to get this dub against the Chicago Bears today. For head coach Dan Quinn, Logan Paulsen, and Bryan Colbert, this is the Game Plan. We will see you next Sunday.